All right, the last Q&A video I did on this channel was 3 years ago when the channel hit 150,000 subscribers. I meant to do another one at 300,000, but I didn't. So it's about time for an update. I asked you guys to submit questions here on YouTube and over on Instagram. And if you're not following me, you can follow at Brock McGough. Got a bunch of great questions. To keep things organized, I divided these into 4 different categories. We'll talk about style and grooming, watches, business and career stuff, and then personal fitness stuff. Timestamps below. Feel free to jump to whichever section you're interested in. Feel free to skip around. I won't be offended. This video will be a bit longer and more casual than most of my videos. And if you are one of my subscribers, if you've been following for a while, I just want to say thank you. Okay, so let's just get into it. First question, what is your height in shoes? I am just over 5'6" in shoes. Barefoot, I'm about 5'5" and change. I get this question all the time, and it's weird because I feel like I'm always stating my height. It's in my Instagram bio, it's in the YouTube description, it's always in every video that I make, but I still get this question all the time, so yeah. 5'6" in shoes. What are your thoughts on the recent baggy style making a comeback versus the old slim fitted style? Listen, I don't really care what other people wear, but personally, I don't really like the oversized look for myself. It can be cool, and I think there are a lot of guys here on YouTube that are pulling it off really well, but I just don't like it. You know, I don't want to buy new clothes every few years, and so I don't really follow trends. I also like when my clothes enhance my physique, and so I tend to wear more fitted clothing. That said, I have gotten rid of some of my most skinny fit clothing. Like I had a couple pairs of jeans that were just really skinny fit, and I've gotten some recent very small gains in the gym, and they're just too skinny now. But anyway, I'm gonna make a whole video about my thoughts on the oversized trend and why I still wear slim fit clothes in the future. What's your view on sandals like Birkenstocks for the summer? I love them. I think they're really comfortable and they're great for walking long distances. Birkenstocks in particular, they have a really firm footbed, so it's good for anybody with foot pain or joint pain. But you know, Birkenstocks, Tevas, Chacos, they're very casual, so of course they have their limits. In terms of wearing them with socks, well, it's a look and your mileage may vary. What is your favorite perfume? Lately, I've been wearing a fragrance called Silver Lake by Bentley. It's a bit more spicy than most of the colognes that I tend to wear, which are more clean and fresh, but I don't know, I've really been liking it. It's kind of addictive. All right, this is a 2-for-1. What are your favorite brands lately? And hey Brock, out of all the menswear brands, which ones do you prefer in terms of quality and price? So all of my outfits consist of at least 2 or 3 brands, so I really couldn't just pick one brand. But some brands that I've been enjoying lately and that I think offer a lot of bang for your buck include Suit Supply for formal wear, Everlane for chinos, jeans, and some tops, Uniqlo for t-shirts. There's Pima cotton t-shirts are still some of the best value in the game, Banana Republic for outerwear if you can find it on sale, Patagonia also for casual outerwear, Lululemon and 10,000 for activewear and athleisure. I like Smartwool for socks, Beckett Simonin for shoes if you're looking for great value, and of course, Seiko watches. At what price point do you hit diminishing returns in quality with different clothing items? All right, these are very rough, but here are some price points that I think above which you're just paying for the label. T-shirts, I think about $30 for a cotton t-shirt, $60 for a wool t-shirt. Jeans, $150 to $200. Dress shoes, anything over $400. Diminishing returns. Sneakers, anything over $200, and suits, anything over $1,500, you're probably gonna see some diminishing returns. Outerwear, it varies widely, but really anything over like $1,000, you're probably just paying for either extreme cold weather gear or a designer label. As a portly wheelchair user, what's my best option for getting clothes that fit? I would give you the same advice that I give to anybody. You're gonna need to visit a tailor. You know, fit is the most important aspect of style. Now, obviously for you, you gotta focus on function over form. Really, that's true for everybody. You're probably gonna wanna focus especially on your shirts. For pants, they can probably be a little longer since you'll be sitting down, so you don't want them to ride up too high. And shoes are gonna be crucial. People are gonna notice your shoes. I mean, everybody notices everybody's shoes, but for you especially, people are gonna look at your shoes. So focus on fit and color, just like everybody else. Focus on great footwear. What do you think will be the biggest change in fashion over the next decade? I think that fast fashion is going to get even faster. Trends are going to come and go so quickly that nothing will ever be definitively cool or uncool. In fact, the only thing that will be uncool is the thing that was just cool, hence the current death of skinny jeans. I think in the nearer term future, maximalism, like loud colors, big logos, big patterns and prints, that's going to sort of replace the minimalist style aesthetic. And unfortunately, we're probably going to see low-rise, flared leg jeans make a comeback because everything in fashion is cyclical. What are your thoughts about dressing sharp and formal in the summer, like for a wedding? What are my options in the scorching heat? I'm gonna give you some advice you've probably heard a million times. Wear lighter colors, breathable fabrics like linen, and if you can, go sockless. Truth is, if you go to a summer wedding, you're probably gonna be hot, you're probably gonna sweat. So a lot of it is just managing the heat and the discomfort. So for comfort, you can wear an undershirt to help soak up that sweat. You can bring body and face wipes to freshen up throughout the day. Wear sunglasses so you're not squinting, and of course, use an SPF moisturizer on your face. Okay, Peter P asks, do you know of any resources for fashion for bigger or chubby guys? I love your videos, but a lot of the time it's hard to implement because I'm chubby. Okay, first of all, the advice that I'm giving you in my videos applies to anybody. Any body or shape or skin tone, any weight or height. It's the same principles. Your clothes have to fit well, you know? Gently fitted clothes will enhance any physique. That said, there's one Instagram account that I really recommend for bigger guys. It's called Coastal Flicks. The guy's name is Nick Ortega. He's a photographer, used to live in New York, now he lives in LA, and I've worked with him a few times. Really cool guy, and he's a bigger guy, and he has great style advice for bigger guys. As a teenager with little money, how should I build my wardrobe and where should I buy clothes from? First of all, get used to thrifting. So go to Buffalo Exchange, go to Goodwill, get comfortable with buying used clothes online from places like eBay and Grailed. This involves knowing your measurements and taking a little bit of risk because they don't have free returns. Be intentional. Don't just buy stuff because it's trendy or on sale. Don't worry too much about keeping up with trends. You know, be yourself. You're gonna get more bang for your buck if you buy stuff that you can wear for a few years. And focus on the highest quality you can afford. Don't go into credit card debt for clothing, but if you're gonna buy a t-shirt, you know, it's better to buy a $15 or $20 t-shirt that's gonna last a few years than a $5 t-shirt that's gonna fall apart. In terms of brands, I think that Uniqlo is one of the best brands for affordable basics. Hey, I'm quite new to the channel, but I have one question. Your face skin looks flawless. Could you share your daily skincare routine or maybe recommend some brands? Hopefully international ones as I'm watching from Poland. Well, thank you. You know, part of it is just good lighting. I have many problems with my skin just like everybody else or most other people. I get acne. I have, you know, dark circles under my eyes when I don't get enough sleep. But I do have a routine and I'm always trying out new brands, but at the very least, I wash my face daily. I use a moisturizer, especially with SPF when it's sunny outside. And then I use some sort of anti-aging cream at night. The one ingredient that made a big difference for me is adapalene gel. The brand for this is called Differin, but really any sort of topical retinoid, like retinol cream, will make a big difference if you haven't tried it. So if other acne fighting ingredients like salicylic acid or benzoyl peroxide don't work for you, I highly recommend trying retinol. Have you considered growing a beard? I heard minoxidil really works. So I have thought about using that. I've thought about even like making a video about that process. The thing is, I'm not sure the side effects are worth it. It's a pretty serious chemical, and I don't know if I want a beard that bad. So maybe one day, but no immediate plans. What has been your biggest style mistake? Biggest mistake by far, I never used to focus on fit. For me, a big light bulb moment was discovering that fit is the most important aspect of style, and that I should probably start getting my clothes tailored. More recently, I think a mistake that I made is going a little bit too skinny with my jeans. Honestly, when the skinny fit trend came along, I was so happy just to find clothes finally that fit my kind of slender build that I went all in on the skinny fit trend. And the clothes still work for my build. I still wear a lot of skinny or slim fit clothes, but I definitely went a little too skinny on a couple of occasions. White, black, or gray t-shirts if you had to choose one for the rest of your life. Gray. Okay, now let's talk watches. What's on the wrist? So right now I'm wearing this vintage Datejust 16030. Got this from Theo and Harris a few years ago, and it's definitely my favorite watch. Would you consider Tissot as an investment for those beginning in watch collecting? No. So I would never buy any watch as an investment, but if you really want to, you need to look at brands that historically go up in value, and Tissot is not one of those brands. You know, you really have to look at like Rolex. Now, sometimes there are other non-luxury brands that will increase in value depending on the model. For example, if a specific Seiko is discontinued, it might go up in value a bit. But if you want to spend a few $1,000s on a watch and have it be an investment, you really got to pick carefully, and Tissot would not fit that criteria. What's a good entry-level diver and or GMT? There are so many good choices. It could make a whole channel just about that topic, but it sort of depends what you mean by affordable. So for divers, I would look at the Seiko SKX or Turtle, really any Orient diver like the Mako or the Ray. For GMTs, you could look at the Mido. Is it Mido or Mido? I'm gonna say Mido. Ocean Star GMT, Timex Waterbury GMT, the Laurier Hyperion if you want to check out a micro brand. You could also check out Glycine, Squall, and Steinhardt. But yeah, ton to choose from. Just Google it. Watch that can go with anything. I think a stainless steel watch with a solid black dial, either time only or with a date window, can go with any outfit, assuming it's the right size for your wrist. For example, the Seiko SNE 039, the Tissot PRX, the Tissot Gentleman, the Laurier Falcon, the Seiko Sarb 033, and of course, the Rolex Explorer. I could go on, but I think that this type of watch, it's a simple neutral color dial steel bracelet, goes with anything from casual to formal. And of course, a leather strap would be just as versatile, and if you wanted a blue or white dial, that would work just as well. Okay, let's get into personal and fitness questions. As a similar weight and height to yourself, I'd love to know your diet and calorie intake with working out. Keep up the great work. Thank you, sir. So I haven't tracked my calories in a while, but I'm probably at 1,900 to 2,200 calories a day. My wife is vegetarian, so I mostly eat plant-based meals at home. I supplement this with protein shakes, but I'm not gonna lie, I struggle to get enough protein throughout the day, especially if I'm trying to hit like 100 to 150 grams. Even just eating at like a 200 calorie surplus, I just feel very full very easily, so it's always been a bit of a struggle. That said, I have gained a few pounds and seen pretty significant strength gains and some aesthetic gains in the past few months. I've been lifting pretty heavy 3 to 4 times a week, so yeah, doing that, it is a little easier to eat more, but I really haven't tracked anything with like MyFitnessPal in a long time. What are your personal workout goals? So really, I just want a sustainable, long-term exercise habit that helps me stay strong and get more flexible as I get older. I really want to enjoy my fitness routine. If I don't enjoy it, then I'm not gonna do it. Since I've been focused on strength training for a while now, specifically, my goals are to hit a 250-pound squat, a 315 deadlift, 165 bench, and 125-pound overhead press. I think those are all realistic in the next, year or so. And of course, I want to look good without a shirt on. I think a little bit of vanity is just fine, and it can go a long way to keep you motivated. All right, Caesar says, hey Brock, been a subscriber for some time. I really enjoy your content. Thank you. I've heard you mention your wife. How many years have you been married? Do you have any kids? Why did you move from New York? And a similar question, love the vids, keep them coming. Where do you live now? Still married? Are you still doing the blog how-to series you had? And what do you see as profitable topics to blog about for men in 2022? Thanks both. I am married. I've been married for 4 years now. We have a little girl who is just over 6 months at the time of recording. So I moved to New York City right before the pandemic hit. It wasn't great timing. My wife and I thought about staying there and maybe moving to Brooklyn or something, but I love the people and the energy and the vibe of New York and the spontaneity, but we both prefer a slightly quieter and more relaxed life, and especially given the timing of when we were in New York, it just didn't make sense for us to stay. I will say that that city lives up to the hype. I'm so glad I got to live there for a year, and I have relationships from that time there that will last a lifetime. After New York, we moved down to Richmond, Virginia. I grew up outside of DC, so I'm kind of familiar with this area. I have family down here, and then we're actually moving back out west pretty soon here. In terms of the blog how-to series, yes, I still blog about blogging at fulltimeblog.com. You can see my income reports and all kinds of stuff there, kind of like a behind-the-scenes look at what I do for my business. Profitable topics to blog about in 2022, anything. Really any topic, no matter how niche it is, will have some interest. And if you create good content about a topic, no matter what the topic is, you will attract an audience over time. Okay, how's daddyhood? I am loving it so far. It's exhausting, as anyone who has kids knows, but it's extremely rewarding. It makes me really thankful that I have a flexible job. To be honest, even just with one kid and with my wife and I basically both having flexible jobs, it's still really hard. I have no idea how single parents do this, or like a single mom with like a regular wage job with no time off. I have no idea how those people do it, and this has made me much more empathetic for people like that. How have your style choices changed, if at all, since becoming a dad? Well, everything gets spit up on it. You don't really have time to shower. You don't have as much time to think about your outfits, and you're gonna get other stuff on your clothes too. You know, I didn't really stop wearing anything when I became a dad. Like, I didn't say, okay, these clothes are too nice to wear. I kind of battle tested stuff. And so, like, when my daughter was really little and was like spitting up a lot, I would still wear my wool or cashmere sweaters and just see how they handled it. And I was surprised. Like, most of my clothes can hold up to some abuse, especially like the kind of athleisure performance fabrics, and then the wool fabrics held up really well. Ryan asks, do you have any pets? We used to have a little dog named Clover, but we had to say goodbye to her, I don't know, maybe 3.5, 4 years ago now, maybe longer than that. But yeah, she was very cute, kind of neurotic, and we loved her. I don't know if we'll get another dog in the future now that we have a baby. We probably will, but not for a while. All right, love the content. Got a few for you. What are some of your guilty pleasures in fashion and in life in general? What are some of your hottest takes, most unpopular opinions in men's fashion? What is your favorite cryptid creature? Why am I still single? Please don't answer that. And a wrist check. Okay, fashion. I am a total sock and underwear snob. And at home, I will definitely wear socks with my Tevas or Birkenstocks around the house. The guilty pleasure in life, I eat a lot of dessert. Okay, hot takes in fashion. Belts are overrated. Minimalist sneakers are better than boots or loafers. And black is the most overrated color in fashion. It's not nearly as versatile as people think. Same goes for white. Favorite cryptid creature? Call me basic, but I'm a fan of the Loch Ness Monster. Why am I still single? Well, I think that at a subconscious level, you might be choosing to be single out of some deep-seated insecurity or past trauma. And 5, wrist check. The Datejust. Okay, moving on to business and career related questions. What got you into making men's fashion and lifestyle videos in the first place? I think the first one I started watching in the early 2010s was Alpha M. I still watch Aaron to this day. So funny you mentioned Aaron. Aaron is a friend of mine. I've known him for probably 7 years now, and he's the guy who got me on YouTube. So when I started, I was just blogging at themodestman.com, and I emailed Aaron's like info@aaronmarino.com or something like that one day and just said, hey, like, I'm a blogger. I like your channel. I just wanted to talk. And he emailed me right back. We ended up talking on the phone that day for like an hour. And he said that I had to start a YouTube channel. Video is the future. And I really didn't want to. I had a lot of resistance to it because video is hard compared to blogging. But I did. And, you know, I'm glad I did because now the channel is a huge part of what I do. So yeah, you can thank Alpha M for The Modest Man. Tips for someone starting a fashion Instagram. Don't. No, I'm just kidding. But really think about it. Like, what are your goals? Do you want to make money? Do you want just fame or followers? Or are you just doing it for fun? If you want to make money, I honestly don't think Instagram's the best place to do it. Now, if you like Instagram and you just want to do it for fun and get followers, go all in on video. Don't even bother posting static images on Instagram right now. Ideally, you could make content that is easily syndicated across the various short video platforms like IG Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, etc. But really think about why you're doing it. Content creation is a long-term play. You're not going to make any money for a while, and it's a grind. I don't think people realize how much time it takes to build an audience that you can actually make a living off of. And remember that when you build a following on social media, you don't own that audience. Instagram owns that audience. So if you really want to build a more sustainable business, I would have a website and an email list too. Hey Brock, I'm 23 years old. I'm having trouble deciding what to do in my life. Any tips or advice? Okay, you're 23. Don't chase money. It's easy to waste your 20s chasing money, working in jobs you hate, and making overly practical decisions. Now, of course, if you're in debt, pay it off. But if you have even an inkling about what you might be passionate about or what you might want to spend your time on, go pursue it. And if you get bored or lose interest or get interested in something else, that's fine. Change what you're doing. But if you do enjoy doing something, you're going to have the stamina to do it for longer than other people, and you'll get better at it than other people. Once you're really good at something, the money will find you. What interests or skills make you respect someone more if they are a master at it? Honestly, interpersonal skills, emotional intelligence, manners, reading the room, knowing how people might react to what you say. understanding how people are reacting and feeling about what other people are saying. This is a soft skill that you can use in any industry, and it's so underrated. I mean, just look at the comment section on anything on the internet. People lack emotional intelligence, especially these days when they can hide behind internet anonymity. I feel like we're kind of losing the ability to treat each other with respect, even strangers, and that's affecting how we interact in real life too. One great classic book about this is How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you haven't read it, it's a great read, highly recommended. Speaking of which, are there any books you would recommend on the topic of personal development? Yeah, some of my other favorites are The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. That kind of got me started on the whole online making money, passive income thing. Another book is called 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals. It's a great book on sort of finding peace with how you spend your time and figuring out how you want to prioritize your time. Similar book is called Essentialism, and again, it's about learning how to focus and spend your time doing things that are meaningful in the long term. And finally, slightly weird, but there's a book called The Easy Way to Control Alcohol. And even if you don't have like a problem with drinking, if you just want to sort of examine your relationship with alcohol, I think that this is a great book. It really made me think about the role of alcohol in my life. Okay, Angelo says, any non-career advice for young adults who just graduated? Yeah, your 20s are a special time, and they're very easy to waste. They're going to fly by. You're going to be in your 30s one day, and you're going to look back at your 20s and kind of wonder if you spent that time correctly. So whatever practical pressure you're under from your family to like get a job or something, ignore it. Whatever crazy ideas you have, do them. So if you've thought about living abroad, go. If you want to see if you can make money online and become a digital nomad, do it. If you want to move to Thailand and do martial arts full-time instead of getting a job, do it. And ideally, you document your journey online so you can start building an audience and making money. Life is long enough to master many different things. You can work on something for 6 or 7 years and then change courses. It's long enough to make tons of money even if you don't start right now. So yeah, whatever crazy ideas you have in your 20s, go do them. Do not waste your 20s working in a job that you hate. Okay, and finally, what's the most important lesson you've learned throughout your career? Most successful people are able to do one thing, usually something that's kind of boring and mundane, over and over and over until they create this flywheel of success. Most people who aren't successful jump from one thing to the next. They never do anything for long enough to get that traction. They're not willing to have that grinding it out, teeth-cutting period of life. For me, this grind was writing blog posts and making YouTube videos. I've written thousands, of blog posts and articles and YouTube scripts, and I've produced hundreds of YouTube videos. I got good at doing these things, and I published enough content that now I've built a sizable audience that I can build a business around. If you're in sales, the grind might be just making enough phone calls. If you're an artist, it's finishing hundreds of works. Same goes for music. You have to finish songs and release them. Even in science and engineering and medicine, I guarantee all the most successful surgeons have one thing in common. They've done a ton of surgeries, probably the same surgery over and over and over. So success is really more about endurance than anything else. It's definitely not about intelligence, it's about persistence. It's often pretty monotonous, but if you can outlast other people, you'll probably find success. And that's why it's important to find something that you kind of enjoy doing, or at least that you don't dread doing, because you're gonna have to do it for a long time. And that's my career advice for you. So we've reached the end of the video. I appreciate you guys submitting all of these questions. If I didn't get to your question, I'll try to get to it in the next Q&A, which at this rate, it's gonna be probably in 3 years when I hit 500,000 subscribers maybe. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for watching my videos and subscribing and commenting. And if you have any other questions for me, leave them down in the comments section. Thank you as always for watching, and until next time, stay stylish.